Okay, so the prompt is, it's about the difference between striving from fear and striving from love. Is there a benefit in the kind of anxiety and stress that comes from when you're aware that your finances are running low and you feel this pressure from time, you feel a pressure from the recognition in lack? Is there a benefit from functioning from that lack ever? Or is it always meant to be ... alchemized by a spiritual maturity of some kind? It's a place where most of us get stuck at some point in our journey. And it's the difference between, it's such a subtle line of difference. You could be working hard because there is this beautiful opportunity to use time wisely, and you love what you're doing, and you're striving to use time and energy in the best way, and also from the function of Dharma. You love being of service, you love God, and you want to honor God by not wasting a day, an hour, a minute, or a second. So your totality becomes focused and optimized accordingly. It could look similar if you were functioning from fear of not being enough or lack of having enough in your bank account. But ultimately, those are reflections of an internal latitude, an internal state. And it's a tricky piece of alchemy, but the alchemy happens from the dedication to give it your all in the name of service to something higher than your lack. If you're serving your lack, like you don't have enough money in your account and you're looking at your account and then that makes you bust your ass, you're basically serving your lack. Now you can look at that empty bank account and that could give you stress and that could give you anxiety, but if you function from that anxiety, that those actions will largely be manic. They'll probably be a version of panic. They'll probably have some non-sturdiness, non-integral stability in it. They might be flailing actions or movements. They might actually cause someone to hurt themselves by overextending or overexerting, ... However, there's this really sweet center, ushy-gushy, it's the sweet spot. It is that place in an aligned center, in alignment, where you are functioning from complete striving. And you might have awareness of maybe not enough funds or not enough time, but you calm the system so that you can see clearly and you're not being blinded by the emotions of the reaction. The reaction to lack will bring up emotions, and those states won't really have the most intelligent functionality in bringing about a result. But the energy of inspiration and catalyzed action, that is technically usable in the next step, which is, okay, now I'm frantically, manically aware that I don't have as much as I want, and I want to do something about that, but I don't want to panic about it and then create more mess and chaos. I want to create alignment, and I'm noticing the visual situation of not alignment. So how do you do that? It's a very paradoxical thing, but if you can basically ignore that information that's coming in from the outside, but also slightly utilize it, it can bring you into the intensity with a dharmic stability and a dharmic alignment that is more calm philosophically than that manic panic to try to create abundance from that feeling of lack. The fire can be really useful. The fire can get you off your ass, and that's happened to me many times. I've realized I didn't have the environment that I wanted, and it gets me into a state of, I don't want to ever experience this again. So let me use this fire, this panic, this manic, this frantic, and put it towards the creation of what I would prefer to be present. But the more sustainable version of that is, while I'm in the fire, I feel the version of myself that has already accomplished it and is already on the other side of this tomb that I'm dying in. And that is the tomb of alchemy that you have to die inside of to be reborn on the other side. Otherwise, the lack consciousness will come through that passageway with you. And on the other side of it, even if you have now the thing that you wish you had, your lack consciousness will still look at your environment in a lack-based way. And it will create more lack because you're still functioning from the old style of consciousness, the old identity that was prior to this section of alchemical heat. Which is why if Dharma and sadhana is overseen by a guru or a shifu or a master or a sensei, they'll guide you through the dissolution of the actual identity that was in the way of being who you wanted to be anyway. So being who you want to be is almost more important than seeing what you want to see. Because if you see what you want to see, but you're still how you used to be, what you want to see isn't going to stay. What's more likely to stay is who you are and how you show up. So if you can alchemize who you are showing up in the moment as, it's like changing the surface of the water or changing the tectonic plates at the bottom of the ocean floor. One will change some stuff, but it's not as deep and not as monumental and fundamental to the infrastructure that is in question. If you can change things deeper, it'll also change the surface, but it will be a longer lasting effect. So, long story short, use the lack consciousness to motivate movement, but calibrate that movement from that sense of abundance. Otherwise, you'll bring that lack consciousness and panic into the other side of the alchemy anyway. So even if you do alchemize it and you get some money in the bank account, you did it through panic. So your nervous system recognizes, oh, panic is slightly valuable. I just made money through panic. So now I'm going to make sure I have more panic in my reservoir, even if I don't need panic. As opposed to, I know I need to change things, but I know panic isn't going to help, so I'm going to be as psychologically, philosophically calm while I may be physically intense. The flood happened the other day, and I'm running through the field, and we're moving things that could get damaged by water. And I had this feeling of really powerful emotion come up while I'm running through the field because the grass is so tall, and I'm pulling my legs up high, and I'm getting tired, and I start slowing down, and then I have this feeling of, oh my God, what if it's not water? I'm being a poet in the moment while I'm running through the field. And I'm like, what if this wasn't water and it was a flood? What if my family was in the house and it was on fire? And I felt this emotion of like, my will to run fast is greater than my fatigue or my itchy legs running through this field. And as that clicked in, 5 yards from me, a baby antelope, a baby oryx jumps up. I mean, I was 5 yards, like really close. And it brought me back into that, whoa. And those couple little mental things happened while I'm running, and then on the other side of it, I dropped it all and I came back to that 0 point.
Can you stop the post?
Yes, I will. So, yeah. That.